Alright, so last Thursday saw the premiere of the last new Steven Universe episode that we're going to be seeing for a while now, and it was entitled Onion Gang. As we join the episode, we can see Steven is taking some time out of his busy schedule to hang out with Onion. He doesn't exactly love this arrangement, Steven, treating it like something of a burden, but in his way he sort of feels bad for Onion, assuming that he has no friends his own age who live in Beach City. There was a lot of good chuckles to be had here with Steven narrating what he assumed Onion was thinking. Onion, of course, all this time later, still very much being mute. It's clear Onion has grown on Steven since his earliest episodes. This is a softer side of him that we're seeing for once. Even if Onion continues to be something of a terror to everyone else in Beach City, let us not forget the events of Future Boys Ultron, it's clear that he and Steven are cool at least. In fact, things seem to be going so good between the two that Onion wants to introduce his new friend Steven to his old friends, the Onion Gang of the title. Now, much like Onion himself, these kids are almost entirely mute and named after food. You got squash, soup, garbanzo, and the little pinto. Garbanzo, for the record, can actually say his name, so he's basically like a Pokemon. How did Onion meet these kids? How long have they been hanging out in the woods together? Never mentioned. Also, are those their real names or nicknames? I mean, for Onion, it's obviously his real name. The kids had something of an untraditional upbringing, and at least his name meets the whole Dragon Ball Z theming, what with his dad being named after a fish, his mom being named after another type of onion, and his brother Sour Cream being, well, named after sour cream. At first, it's all smiles and good times as Steven gets to know these kids better, but much like the Onion of old, we see that these kids have a dark, sometimes cruel sense of humor that manifests itself. Again, why are they like this? Why do they seem to enjoy hurting people as much as they do? It's never really addressed. Also, did anyone else think Steven was pretty gullible in this episode? He gets freaked out by a bunch of toddlers in masks, and then later he falls for their practical joke, even though it's obvious what's going on. I know part of Steven's charm is that, he's pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but I mean, come on, man, use your observation skills, seriously. Things take a pretty dark turn for Steven and the Onion Gang when, after a bug race, all the different crazy toddlers expect Steven to squash the bug that won. Once again, I'm forced to ask, why are these kids exhibiting this weird ceremonial, serial killer-esque behavior? I don't know. Understandably, Steven wants no part of this crazy bug squashing club and leaves. In doing so, though, he comes to an odd realization, and that is maybe he doesn't have as many friends as he thinks he does. And while he may very well have treated the time he spent with Onion as a burden, it was Onion who wanted to show him good faith by letting him hang out with his friends, only this argument doesn't really hold water. As we've seen multiple times throughout the show, Steven has no trouble making friends with pretty much everybody. Heck, he's made friends with aliens that are thousands of years older than him. What's with the whole sudden feelings of loneliness that come out of nowhere here? In the end, Onion attempts to salvage the friendship between him and Steven by saving the bug from getting squashed. Then again, no one ever points a finger at the kids for squashing the bug in the first place. Nor is their cruelty ever brought up again because, well, we kinda can't. As we find out, all these different kids in the Onion Gang are only here for the summer, and as the school season is starting up, they're going to be leaving soon. It's only really right here by the end does Onion Gang, in my mind, actually rub up against something of an interesting idea, and that is that Steven and Onion are actual locals to Beach City, while everyone else is kind of transient. As someone who grew up and spent the majority of his life in a vacation town himself, this story bit really did strike a personal chord with me, but by that point the episode's over, so there's nothing to really explore. Even the ending felt a little off to me. As we've seen, these kids are pretty horrible, but Onion feels bad about losing his friends, so Steven comforts Onion about losing these horrible people who pushed him to do bad things. If you couldn't already tell, Onion Gang was an episode that I didn't exactly enjoy very much. With a name like Onion Gang, I really did assume this was going to be a story about Steven trying to save Onion from bad influences, only no, that's not what happened. I also don't really feel like I learned a lot about Onion as a character here. I feel like he sort of peaked with Onion Friend. It's also kind of disappointing too that this ended up being the last new episode we're going to be seeing for a while. Didn't really leave on a high note. But hey, I mean, for a show that's consistently as entertaining as Steven Universe is, that bats as high as it does, you're gonna miss at one point, and this was one of them, I feel. In fact, I get the feeling I put this episode on the back burner to review longer than just about any other one because I had so little to say about it, and yet here I am talking for longer than 4 minutes, so hey, what do I know, right? Overall, I would end up giving this one a 5 out of 10.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Kate Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way. away, and I will see you all next time.